So we are looking at interview question and answer in MySQL. First is, what is MySQL exactly? MySQL is an open source RDBMS relational database management system that uses SQL, structured query language, the most popular language for adding, accessing and processing data in the database. And since it is an open source, this DBMS is open source, anyone can download MySQL and tailor it to their needs in accordance to the GPL license, because MySQL is under GPL license. So MySQL is noted mainly for its speed, reliability and flexibility. So you have speed, reliability and flexibility. How many columns we can update in single MySQL query? So we can update up to 64 columns in single MySQL query. 64 columns means these rows. No, we are not talking about rows. Rows can be, it depends on how many rows are there. All will be, but we are talking about the columns. That is the attributes. What is the maximum length of column name, table name and database name? Column name can be of 64 characters. Table name, the table name can be 64, and the database name can be number of tables, and then we have a database. So it can be 64 characters. So all 64. How will you export tables as an XML file in a MySQL? So MySQL query browser has a provision, it has a provision, a drop down calling export result set, which allows the table to be exported to XML. What is DML, DDL and DCL? First let me tell you the full form of this. DDL is data definition language, DML is data manipulation language, DCL is the data control language. So data definition language, it deals with the database schemas and description of how the data should reside in the database. So it is defining the data. That is why we are talking about the schema and the description of how the data should reside in the database. Therefore, the language statements like create table or alter table, so creating and altering, it belongs to DDL. What about the DML? Because DML deals with the data manipulation, and therefore it includes the most common SQL statement like select, insert. All these are DML statements. What about DCL? DCL is data control language, which includes the commands such as grant. You're trying to grant something, so you are actually controlling, and mostly concerned with the rights, the permissions and the other controls of the database system. So you are dealing with the rights and permissions, etc. So controlling. How do you get the number of rows? You can get the number of rows from select count. Just use this count aggregate function. User ID from users. This is just an example. This would only return the number of user IDs, that is the number of rows. What are the difference between MySQL fetch array, MySQL fetch object and MySQL fetch row? So array, object and row. So MySQL fetch object, it returns this is going to return the result from the database as objects, while the array will return it as an array. So this will allow access to the data by their field name. For example, if you have this object MySQL underscore fetch object, this field can be accessed using $result, and whatever result is there, and name, just imaginary we are taking. And using this array, what you can do, now you can access it like this, just like we access array in our programming languages. And what about the row? MySQL fetch row. So whatever is result is there, where this $result is the result resource written by the successful query. Now this can be executed using the MySQL query function, right? If the value in the column is repeatable, how do you find out the unique values? For that we use the distinct. You use distinct in the query, such as select distinct this user first name from users. So you can also ask for a number of distinct values by just saying select count and then distinct. Say any example user first name from users. This is how you do it. We are using the distinct for it. How do you return the 100 books starting from 25th? You want to access the 100. For that, we select book title from books and we'll give a limit 2500. So the first number in the limit is the offset and the second number is the number. How to create insensitive query MySQL. How to create case insensitive query MySQL? we use the binary for case insensitive query. For example, select star from users, the name is equal to, now we use binary here, name is equal to binary Bob. So this will create a case insensitive query in MySQL. What is the name of collation? Collation for case sensitive, we have these Latin 1 underscore general underscore CS. So when you want to search data as case sensitive, we use Latin 1 underscore G general underscore CS. How do you write a query to select all items that won either 2, 4, 6 or 8 games? We'll use in. So select the team name from teams where team won in 2, 4, 6, 8. How would you select all the users whose phone number is null? Can you answer this? How would you select all the users whose phone number is null? We select username from users where is null. We use is null. Right? Phone number, user phone number. How do you find out which auto increment was assigned on the last insert? How you are going to find out which auto increment was assigned on the last insert? We select last insert ID. This last insert ID will return the last value assigned by the auto increment function. We have to note that you don't have to specify the table name. On executing the delete statement, I keep getting the error about foreign key constraint failing. What do I do? So when you are dealing with the delete statement, you have to see that there is always certain constraint on the tables. So foreign key is one of that constraint. So when it means, or what it means is that the data that you are trying to delete is still alive in another table. So if you have a table for universities, for example, and a table for students which contains the ID of the university they go to. So running a delete on the university table will fail if the student table still contains the people which are enrolled at the university. So proper way, the good way to do it would be to delete the offending data first, which is constraining, and then delete the university in question. So quick way would involve running this set foreign key checks. So you have to check for the foreign keys, and before just going for the delete command and setting the parameter back to 1 after the delete is done. So if your foreign key was formulated with on delete cascade, the data which is in independent tables will be removed automatically. When would you use the order by and delete statement? Order by and delete. Whenever you are not deleting by row ID. When you are not deleting by row ID, you use order by in delete statement. Such as in delete from, say, some com question, say. So order by timestamp say limit 1. So this will delete the most recently posted question in the table, say com question. This is just an example I am taking. So how you can use the order by in delete? When you are not deleting by row ID, then you can use the order by in delete statement. How can you see all indexes defined for a table? This is the command show index from questions. This is question can be any table. Don't worry about these. I'm just taking them random. So the basic idea is to understand these which are in upper cases. How will you delete a column? Alter table, answer drop some column you can drop. This is the table name. This is the row or the column you want to. This is the column you would like to drop. How would you change a table to InnoDB? For that you alter table questions, you place engine and then InnoDB. So this is how you change a table to InnoDB. When you create a table and then run show create table on it. So when you create a table and then you run show create table on it, you occasionally get different results than what you typed in. What does MySQL modify in your newly created tables? So when you create a table and then run show create table on it, you occasionally get different results. So what does MySQL modify in your newly created table? See, varchars with length less than 4 becomes the char. Varchar will become char if the length is 4. The chars with length which is more than 3 will become varchar, variable character. Character will become variable character. Not null will get will be added to the columns which are declared as the primary key, because primary key cannot be null. And the default values such as null, they are specified for each column. How do I find out all databases starting with users to which I have access to? For that you can use show databases like, then users and then percent. So you will find out all the databases starting with users to which you have access to. How do you concatenate strings in MySQL? Concat function is there. Say you can add these strings, concat. How do you get a portion of a string? You can use substring function. Select substring. This is the string 110 from questions. So you'll get 10 values, 1 to 10. Means not values but the say characters, 1 to 10 characters. What is the difference between the char length and the length, character length and the normal length? This first is the character count. This is the byte count. This is the character count. This is the byte count. And for the Latin characters, the number are the same, but they are not the same for Unicode and other encodings. How do you convert a string to UTF-8? You can just use select question using UTF-8. This is for Unicode. How do percent and underscore mean inside like statement? This percent means 0 or more characters. We have just used a question. So if I want to know all the names which are starting with user, so I'll place a percent. All those names, whether it be user, users or user, me, user 2, user fi, user phone, anything, anything 0 or more character. Even user will also come because it means 0 or more character. But underscore means exactly 1 character. Means I want to know I want to know all the names which end with say man. So you will get a man, f man, all these, 1 character. Exactly 1 character. So if you want to place 2 character, you place 2 underscore. What does this plus mean in regex? This regex is for regular expression. It means at least 1 character. Plus means at least 1 character. Regular expression from MySQL manual is worth pursuing before the interview. How to get the second highest salary of an employee from an employee table? So you can have 2 ways. You can select the max salary from employee. You can just order by salary, and this is DESC. That is, you are using it in descending order. Then you give limit 1 1. This is one method. Select salary from employee, order by salary, DESC, limit 1 1. And what about the other way? You can use the aggregate function. Means select max salary from employee. Where max salary is less than, again you go for select max salary from employee. So you are finding the maximum, and then again you are placing the maximum in this value. How do you get the month from a timestamp? Month from a timestamp. So you select month timestamp from questions. So this is how you go for it. Select month timestamp from questions. What are the techniques for query optimization? So we have certain techniques for query optimization in MySQL. We can use the indexes. User limit you can add means don't pull extra records, and use only required fields. That is, don't pull extra fields which you're not going to use. How do you offload the time date handling to MySQL? How do you offload the time date handling? You can use like this. Select data format timestamp, and this is the format of year, month, date from questions. This is just a table. A similar time format function deal with the time. Get highest salary from each department with employee name. So you select e.name, e.salary and e.department, say from employee as e. Inner join. Select again inside this. You have select maximum salary as m.s. We have just renamed it. Department from this employee as me. Group by department. So on e.salary is equal to me dot m underscore s. So now you are knowing this employee as me. So me dot m underscore s, and e dot department to equate. E dot department is equal to me dot department. What you can use? Where you can use? Let me see the because you must be aware of regular expression uses also. So what you can use regular expression for in MySQL? Why? The question asks about the essence of regular expression. Support your answer with an example. So let us see. Regular expression in MySQL are used in queries for searching a pattern in a string. Regular expression actually does that. This star means 0 or more instances of a string which is preceding it. Plus means 1 or more instances of string preceding it. Question mark means 0 or 1 instances of the string preceding it. Dot means it matches a single character. For example, this ABC matches to A, B and Z also. It should be C. This means it separates string. Cap means anchors the match from the start. So REGEXP can be used to match the input characters with the database. What is the difference between a Unix timestamp and a MySQL timestamp? See, Unix is a database. Unix is a operating system. MySQL is a database. So there has to be some difference. So internally, Unix timestamps are stored as 32-bit integer. But because they are timestamp, their workability is similar. Internally, Unix timestamps are stored as 32-bit integers, while MySQL timestamps are stored in a similar manner, but they are represented in a readable format. Year, month, date, hour, minute, second format. This is how timestamp differs. What is the difference between MySQL Connect and MySQL P Connect? MySQL Connect and MySQL P Connect, see P is there. The difference is MySQL Connect opens a new connection to the database. The database connection can be closed, and MySQL Connect opens the page every time the page is loaded. So what is MySQL P Connect then? MySQL P Connect, it opens a persistent connection to the database. See, there is a difference between a new connection and a persistent connection. Then the database connection can not be closed. Here it can be closed, here it cannot be closed. And the third is it opens the page every time the page is loaded in MySQL Connect, but in this case, the page need not to be open every time the page is loaded. This is MySQL P Connect. What are enumerations used for in MySQL? You can limit the possible values that go into the table. For example, create table month, enum, January, February, March. You can insert month values, April now. So you are limiting the possible value that can go into the table by enums. How to get second highest salary of an employee? We have already seen this. Let us see it again. Select salary from employee, order by salary, then your DESC is descending order, limit 1,1. How to get current MySQL version? Select version. Simple select version will give you MySQL version. What are the drivers in MySQL? You have PHP driver, JDBC driver, ODBC driver, C wrapper, Python driver, Perl driver, Ruby driver, and CAP 11 PHP driver. All these drivers are there. How do you log into MySQL using Unix shell? For that, you do MySQL -h hostname -u username -p password. So after just pressing enter key, it will prompt for a password. Now you have to enter the password again. What does myIsAMCHK do? This myIsAMCHK compress the myISAM, means this one, this part. It compresses the myISAM tables, which reduces their disk or memory usage. So this is for compression. What are federated tables? Federated tables which allow access to the tables located on other database on other servers. Federated tables which allow access to the tables are located on some other database on other servers. How can we get the number of rows affected by a query? Of course, for these numbers you have to write, or you have to use the aggregate function. So we use count here. Select count user ID from users. This is just an example, User can be in a table. How to display top salary of 5 employees? For that, we will use the same answer which we just gave for the top salary of the employee. We use their DSC limit 1, 1. Here what we are going to use, we'll place this query in the similar fashion, but we'll change somewhere. Just here. Select start from user, order by you have to use salary, DSC, descending order, then limit 0, 5. This is important. So what is MySQL? Let us revisit it again. Whatever we have done, let us revisit again. What is MySQL? So MySQL is multi-threaded, multi-user. See, it is multi-threaded, multi-user SQL database management system, which has more than 11 million installation. You can imagine what extent this number says by itself. So this is the world's second most popular and widely used open source database. This is first in open source database, second just after Oracle. Okay, so it is a multi-threaded, multi-user SQL database management system. In which language MySQL is written? Can you guess? Is it in C, C++? So MySQL written in C and C++, and the SQL parser is in YACC. What are the technical specifications of MySQL? MySQL has these specifications. Let me tell you. First is it has a flexible structure. The performance is very high. It is quite manageable, easy to use. The replication and high availability is there. The security and storage management is always there. So what is the difference between a MySQL and SQL? SQL is a standard query language. It is used to interact with the database like MySQL and various other databases. SQL is a de facto standard. Some uses PLSQL, some uses MySQL, etc. So MySQL is a database that stores various type of data and keeps it safe and available to various users. This PHP script is required if you are talking about the web. Then PHP script is required to store and retrieve the value inside the database. Or there can be various. Just I'm giving an example how you can interact with the database on web. So this was our first section, and we'll be taking one more on MySQL. Thank you so much. Take care.